Where'd you go? Oh. Hi, friends. Welcome to my oh! Well, hi, friends. Welcome to my not a sewing vlog. I am your hostess, Emily, the sucky seamstress. There is like a little flying bug in this room, and it is torturing me. Currently, it is the bane of my existence, and I cannot handle it. I'm going to find it, and I'm going to punish it for invading my space. And just when I'm like, okay, it's like flown out of the room, it's like flown upstairs or into another room. Oh, my nose is really itchy. All of a sudden it's like there, in my face. Like, ha ha ha, ha ha ha, I'm right here. Goosraba, goosraba, goosraba. Okay. I'm calm, cool, collected. It's good. It's all good. Hi. So, it's part 4 of my LA trip and the last part of this saga that is July, all of my July adventures, me going to LA, me going to costume college, all the things I did and did not update any of you about the entire time. Goodbye, George. I don't know what he's doing. Okay, I'm not going to get distracted. I'm super distracted-y today. I don't know why. I'm very much, squirrel, shiny, what, who, where was I, what was I doing? Now, I know that I'm like that most of the time anyway, but today I'm like, it's extra. It's super extra. It's so extra that right now I can point to things around my house that I'm like, oh, I started to do, and I put that down there when I saw and then, yeah, it's bad. It's been bad. Okay, where did we leave off? I know where we left off. We left off on the Monday after costume college, which was I believe it was August 1st. And that is the day where you can sign up to go on the LA Fabric District tour, which is super, super fun. The night before we packed up all of our stuff, and I put my stuff in my friend's room because her roommate was leaving that day. And so we're bundling up. Oh, you little monster. You little monster. Come here. You're not going to go right in front of the camera. That's mean. I can't slap you if you're right in front of the camera. Come here. Come here. Come here. Where are you? Oh, gosh. Oh, you went behind the light. Sorry. I'm like devoted to killing this bug. I'm sorry. I am very cool with bugs when they're outside. When they're outside, I try to leave them alone. If they're on me, I just try to shoo them away. I do not try to kill bugs when they are outside. Once they enter my home, it kind of becomes a different story. Especially when they're like kamikaze dive bombing my face constantly for an entire day. Okay, so moved stuff over to friend's room the night before, or maybe it was early that Monday morning. I don't remember. It's been a couple weeks. Did you get it? No. Oh, did I get it that time? It's not in my hands. You totally saw me jump. Did you see me jump? I'm not very good at jumping, but that was a pretty good jump. Okay, this is going to keep happening. So, sorry. I hope it's entertaining, because if it's not, it's going to keep happening because I hate this bug. I tried to find it before I started filming. I tried and finally got to the point where I was like, you need to get your last video out tonight. So you're just going to have to deal with it. Which means you're going to have to deal with it. So there, friends. So we all meet in this, like, the convention area foyer. And then we head out to the buses. Costume College rents these buses that are like, you know, they're the nice buses with, you know, the padded seats and AC and all of that stuff. And they bus us out to the LA Fabric District. And those of us who have been on this tour before know that there's several things you need to make sure of. You need to make sure you've got good walking shoes on. And you need to be prepared not to be able to sit down because there's like nowhere to sit anywhere. You need to be able to be prepared to be out in the sun because you're going to be walking around outside getting to shops. It's a lot of walking and it's a lot of outside in the hot, hot sun. And if you're going into, like, the bigger shops might have some AC or some fans, but the smaller shops, they are just as hot inside as it is outside. So hot, hot, hot. I had my hand fan. I also had like a little buzzy handheld fan that I could use. And also dress cool, dress for hot weather. Make sure you have water. Make sure you bring snacks. They do provide bottled waters and snacks on the buses, which is also very, very nice. One thing that changed this year that I did not really care for, and I think a lot of other people didn't really care for, is in previous years they had a printed little booklet that showed some of the locations around the LA Fabric District, but more importantly, it showed where, like, I think some of the public bathrooms are, where some of the places where you can eat are, where the ATMs are, and where the shipping locations are. Because some people buy a lot, like buy so much fabric, and then they go over to, I don't know if it's a UPS or a FedEx store that's actually right there in the Fabric District, buy a box, tape it all up, and ship it home, because they're going to then get on an airplane later that day and fly home. So that's how they avoid, having to deal with taking that home. This year, they had all of that information, that booklet, on this app that was handling all the Costume College stuff for this year. And you like had to download the information on the app. And the problem is when you're on a bus, you know, traveling, your internet is spotty in the Fabric District, your internet's spotty when you're in the stores, your internet's spotty. And people were having trouble accessing this booklet. And it was just so much nicer having a physical booklet. And most of us didn't know that we weren't going to get a physical booklet beforehand, so we didn't think to like print it off. And you actually pay a fee to go out to the Fabric District on these buses and whatnot. And in the past, that booklet was part of that fee. So, I mean, I get saving paper. I think it would be nice to maybe ask people beforehand if they want the option of having a printed booklet. I don't know. Just my take. I would have really appreciated a printed booklet because I completely forgot where the food places are. I know there's like a Subway somewhere in the Fabric District. There's a Mexican restaurant, and there's something else. Without the little map telling where things are, I had no idea where any of that was. So didn't actually end up eating lunch. And you're there from like, I don't know, 9:30, 10 a.m. or something to like 4. So you're there for a long time. And to just have like the snacks you brought and the few snacks they have on the bus and some water and no like real food, that was hard. that was pretty difficult. Anyway, so running around the fabric district. Now, my fabric district shopping tends to be different from a lot of other customers. I was with a group of customers, a small group of customers, in the fabric district, small group of friends, and the majority of them were only really interested in 100% silk fabric, specifically 100% silk taffeta fabric. But whatever fabric they were looking at, they wanted it to be 100% silk, you know, like top end, high quality, everything. That is not me because I generally can't afford that fabric. And I mean, I'll tell you, I do have some 100% silk fabrics in my fabric stash up in my sewing room. Very little, but I do have some. And ask me if I've made anything out of it. That would be a big fat no. Because I'm terrified of using it because I'm afraid I'm going to like ruin that super nice, expensive fabric. But also, like, I can't afford those fabrics that I got, like, at least 2, possibly 3 of them I got in the LA Fabric District at previous costume colleges because I found really great deals. And that's the only time I can ever get 100% silk fabric is if I find like a really incredible deal on it, because I can't afford to just go buy a bunch of 100% silk fabric. Plus, it messes with my head as a costumer who constantly worries about like the quality of their sewing and the work that they do on their costuming. Using that fabric makes me pretty nervous. So I also need to be like in love with the fabric, like so in love, like that I can't imagine not getting that fabric. So most of the time when I'm in the LA Fabric District, I'm looking for one of 3 things. I am looking for 100% cotton fabrics that I can either use that are like super, super cheap, that I can use that are like cotton wool, that really thin, sheer, beautiful cotton, or that is like embroidered cotton. Because those can be pretty pricey online, but in the LA Fabric District, especially if you have cash, here's the big, you know, if you don't know about this, here's the big secret. Take cash. If you take a bunch of cash with you, if you are like, okay, here's my budget for the LA Fabric District, get that out in cash. Because a lot of these places, especially if you're getting several yardages, will give you a better deal if you have cash. Because it actually costs them less if you have cash, because they're little small fabric shops, and to have to run your credit card or your debit card or whatever, it costs them money, you know, because they're using little chargy things because they're not a big store. So if you have cash, sometimes they'll knock some money off of what you're paying on your fabric, which is really great. I have some friends who are great at haggling. I am horrible at haggling. I cannot do it. It makes me really nervous. And yeah, so I can't do that. But some people will totally haggle, and sometimes you can haggle them down, especially if you are paying in cash. If you're not paying in cash, it's probably going to be hard for you to do. George, lay down. Sorry, he's doing the thing again. Tap, 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 tap upstairs. Tap, 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 tap across the floor. I don't know how to just... I think he gets really restless when I'm just standing here talking to nobody, and he can see me standing here talking to what he considers as no one's there, and it makes him really nervous. So he's like, I'm going to go see where Dad is. And Dad's upstairs in his office, so he's like, oh, Dad's up there, but I can hear Mom talking downstairs. So he comes down here and lays in his bed, and he's like, but Mom's talking to nobody. But the tap, 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 it's driving me crazy. We need to get your nails cut, and I love you. And oh, and now you're sleeping. Are you sleeping? Oh, you're the cutest boy. I love you so much. Okay, anyway. Second, is it polyester or like a faux silk or, you know, like a faux silk, but a really good quality? Because there are faux silk taffetas out there, you know, that are pretending to be silk taffeta, but they're fake. But there's different levels of it. I don't know if you've ever ordered like fake silk taffeta, like faux taffeta or whatever, online, and it shows up and it's like plastic and it's horrible. And you're like, this would not fool anyone. Why in the world are you, you know, why are you saying this is faux taffeta? It's not. This is like plastic sheeting. That's happened to me. That's, you get what you pay for. But sometimes, especially in the LA Fabric District, you can find some really great fake silk taffetas. Now, I'm all for sewing with natural fibers. I'm all for it. I love the historical costumers and just regular costumers who are like, sew with natural fibers. It'll keep you cool. It's so much better. You know, polyester heats up. It's awful, blah, blah, blah. I totally agree. I just can't afford to do that all the time. So if I can find a fake silk, fake taffeta, fake, you know, whatever. Sorry, my nose is really itchy. I don't know what to do about it. Again, see, super distracted. If I can find one of those that I'm like, this would fool you unless you're like standing right up close to it, or unless you touch it, then those are the ones I buy. Because I love it when I can find a really great fake taffeta. Like I found one, and I'm going to show you what I got. I found one that was like $4 a yard. And it is such a good fake. And I'm so thrilled with it. And then the third thing I'm looking for is something I truly love. Doesn't matter what it is. Is it 100% silk? Is it the crappiest taffeta but has the most amazing design? Is it something embroidered? Is it something with sequins? Is it something just... I'm looking for that fabric that I will never find online, that I will never find at my Joann's, that I will never find. I'm looking for that taffeta. I just realized I left my overhead lighting on. Oh my gosh, I'm not so shiny anymore. That's amazing. Did I mention that I'm like really distracted today? Okay. But just that fabric that just makes me super happy, you know? And if it's like extremely expensive, think, you know, what could I make with this? And what's the very limited amount that I could get for that? Sometimes, there was this one time I found this 100% silk brocade, like thin brocade with purples and teals and like antique golds. It was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. And it was $50 a yard. And I was like, that like hurts my heart to, Anyway, I bought 1 yard. I bought 1 yard because I thought, you know what? I could make a 4-part and some sleeves for one of my Queen Elizabeth outfits back when I was doing Queen Elizabeth. And I used to look at that fabric and pet that fabric and daydream over that fabric. And that fabric made me so happy. Eventually sold that fabric because we were going through a financial crisis. And the place that made that fabric was actually like a really famous place. And a lot of their amazing fabrics, once they make them, they make a certain amount and then they never make them again. So I was actually able to sell it for like, I don't even remember how much I sold that yardage for, but it was way over $50. It was like a couple $100. But you know, sacrifices, it's fine. I do daydream about it sometimes, but sacrifices, it's fine. Um, I did have one kind of weird experience in the fabric district. Um, I was with this group of friends, and they were in a shop that primarily, like, the section we were in and stuff was all 100% silk taffeta. And so I was kind of just helping them. I was like, oh, here, let me hold all of these rolls. Because a lot of these shops, I mean, the fabrics are in just like loose rolls all over the place. And you just have to dig through them. So I'm like, here, let me help you. Or let me hold this out for you so you can look at it and stuff. Because I was like, 100% silk. I don't think I'm going to buy any of that. Because, you know, I'd have to really love it. And while they were oohing and ahhing looking over these fabrics, I noticed this roll of 100% silk fabric that had been buried behind these rolls. But as they were moving them, I saw it. And I was like, oh, it glows. It's so beautiful. And I started to imagine this costume in my head with that glowing fabric. And I was just like, yes. And when my friend said, are you sure there's none of these silks that you'd be interested in? And I went, this one, I want to buy this one. I love this one. And when my other friends that was with the group was like, oh yeah, I like that one too. So I went over to the guy at the store, and I was like, in the shop, and I was like, hey, how much is this roll? Because sometimes the rolls are different sizes, like different widths of fabric. So you always have to ask. And, sometimes the price changes just depending on if they like you or not. Welcome to the LA Fabric District. And he gave me the price. And the girl who had said, the friend that had said, oh, I like that too, went, that's a great price. I'll take all of it. And my brain, in my head, I was like, excuse me? I was the first one to point it out. I was the first one to say I loved it and I wanted to get it. I'm the one who went over and asked for the price. Why are you saying you're going to take all of it? I have first dibs here. If there's any left, you can have it. You know, that's what I said in my head. But as we all know, I have anxiety, especially friend anxiety and social anxieties about, like, you know, talking to people about things and stuff. So instead, I like shut down, went, oh, okay. And went and sat down. And he measured out all of the fabric, and she proceeded to buy more than half of the fabric there, which made me realize I probably wouldn't have enough to do the project I wanted with. And so she's like, you know, I'll take this much. And I'm looking at the remainder that's laying there. And I'm just like, oh, it's so beautiful, but I don't think that's enough to do, you know, the project in my head. And then she was standing there and she's like, oh, or do I need more? And I don't know what happened. So a different friend was like, I thought Emily wanted some of that. You know, didn't Emily want some of that? Like, kind of trying to, like, coax the situation. Like, hey, Emily, hello. And so, like, this little part of my head was like, okay. You're not taking charge, so I'm taking over. And I, like, hopped up and walked over to the guy, and I'm like, I'm buying the rest of that. I'm buying the rest of it. And he was like, okay. You know, he started folding up to me, and the girl who bought the big portion of the fabric was like, oh, you're buying the rest of it? Okay, well, I guess if I need more, I can get it from you. And I'm just like, goose for ba. You know. Now, I'm making light kind of the situation, but I'll tell you, I didn't feel light about the situation that day. I felt really closed off and awkward and weird the rest of the day because, to me, I don't know how people just, you know, do that, you know? Had roles been reversed and I really liked that fabric, but someone else had, like, pointed it out first and went and asked for the price first, I would have been like, oh, I hope there's some left. Maybe I can get some when they're done. And that would have, you know, but to just like jump in and be like, yeah, I want this, when someone else had like, I don't know, guys. And I tried to figure out if I wanted to talk about this on the video. But these vlogs are also, if you haven't figured out, are kind of like a live journal for me. Do you remember live journal? Anyway, it's kind of like journaling as well, a little bit. And also, you know, and I share a lot of things, a lot of my life with you, and a lot of what I like go through, and also what I'm working through. I mean, it's not just a, hey, I'm a customer and these are my sewing things that I'm doing. It's also, hey, I'm a plus size woman and this is what I deal with. And hey, I'm a woman who deals with anxiety and this is what I'm dealing with. And hey, these are the social issues I'm dealing with. And hey, you know, so I share a lot with you. And this is something I'm sharing with you, is the situation I was in. And I haven't yet, but I want to talk to that person more so that I can like let it go, because it still weighs on my head. In fact, when I look at the fabric now, I can't even enjoy it, because every time I look at it, I just remember that like situation and how bad it made me feel. And so I don't know. Part of me wonders if I should just sell the fabric and be done with it, even though I do love it so much. I don't know. Anyway, the rest of the day I was kind of off a little until I found some other fabrics, and then I perked up a little bit because I found some things, some other stuff that I loved as well. And it turned out to be a really great, very productive day at the LA Fabric District. Yes. And after the LA Fabric District, we went back, ate some food, relaxed, because the next day, me and my friend Melinda were going to Disneyland. But first, let's talk about what I bought at the LA Fabric District, shall we? Okay, what to share first? Well, okay, let's go from like more boring to the best. I just got some white cotton wool. Very simple. It's just very light, very thin. You can see me through it. Maybe I can see you, or me. That sounds creepy. I can see you. No, I can see me through it, but like it's a very, very light cotton. And this is amazing for making like summer chemises and historical underclothing and veils and all sorts of like, I've used some to decorate on a hat with. I've trimmed petticoats with it. I've made very delicate thin ruffles with it. It's always useful. So I got a bunch of this. Then, oh, I absolutely love this. I actually saw this the last time I went to costume college at the same shop. And I wondered if it would still be there. And I told myself if it was still there, I was going to buy it. So it's 100% cotton. I think it might also be a cotton wool because it is very thin and very see-through. But it's this beautiful pink. And it has, well, it's the same on both sides. It has this paisley floral print with green leaves and kind of maroon little flowers, maroon and purple little flowers and yellow flowers and some white. And it's just this beautiful soft print. And you're probably like, what are you going to do with that? Well, what am I not going to do with that? Last year, I was kind of thinking of doing a Regency, like summer dress with it. This year, you know, because we're always learning, I'm not sure if the print, I don't think the print will work for Regency. I'm not sure. I'm also thinking I might do a modern summer dress. Well, I like to wear like retro inspired, but like an everyday dress for me, because it is so pretty. And I just love it. When I saw it was still there, I was like, yes, you are coming home with me. So I love that. We've hit 30 minutes. So what am I going to do, folks? I'm going to stop and start again. One good thing is me and Handsome Hubby figured out the storage issue on my phone today. Or at least we think we did. So if we didn't, that'll be awkward if I have to complain about it again later. But I think we did figure it out, and might not have problems in the future. Okay. So, you know how I said I'm always looking for something that's like really different and quirky, and it can be like something just I can't find anywhere, or something different, or something that just speaks to me. Well, I found this fabric, and when a bunch of us were back at the hotel, and we're sitting and standing in a circle in the conference area kind of entryway thing. Well, actually the hotel kind of entryway sitting area. And we were showing off what we bought. And I showed this fabric. My friend, oh shoot, I'm so bad with names when I'm filming. I always remember names after the fact, but I'm so bad with names when I'm filming. I can see her in my head. Beautiful. Amazing. Anyway, she wanted to steal this fabric from me. She's like, what are you going to make with that? And I was like, I have no idea, but it just spoke to me. So this is like a faux taffeta in this like very off-white cream color that's been gathered with these like into these gathered sections to make all these little poofs. And it's long. I think it's like 50 inches wide or so. And the only time I've ever seen fabric like this is I think I've seen duvets that are made of fabric like this, but usually I think they're made out of like a cotton or a cotton blend or like a polished cotton or something, not like a fake taffeta. Though they might be. But anyway, I found this fabric in like the clearance section at this place, and I was just like, it's so bubbly and it's so pretty. And I pulled some off of the roll, and I like wrapped it around me, and I was like, I love this. It is coming home with me. I am the bubble queen. And the shop guys were right there, and I think that they were very concerned about the crazy white lady who was out there wrapping herself in their fabric. But that's what I did, because that's what I do. Anyway, I love it. I have no idea what I'm going to make with it. If you have any ideas, please let me know. I would love some ideas. Not going to promise that I'm going to use them, but I would love some ideas because I love it. I think I have 5 yards of it. I wish I'd gotten more, but it is very poofy, and I had to pack all of this fabric in my luggage. Yeah. So that was a whole story I will tell you as well. Then, I'm so excited about this. This is also a fake. I think it's meant to be a fake taffeta, and this is, I believe, kind of like a 5 feet away fake taffeta. So from 5 feet away, I think it does a really great job. The brilliance of this fake taffeta is the embroidery. Look at this embroidery. So the taffeta, and with all my lights, I'm not sure you can see, it's kind of like this gold color, but like an old gold, like an antique gold color. And it's got these lines of embroidery on it in like a copper gold, and then like pink flowers and varying shades of pink, and like olive green, And then white flowers with tan centers. Anyway, beautiful stripes, embroidered stripes. And I'm thinking 18th century ball gown, court gown. I guess 18th century is more like court gown. But anyway, I know you're like, Emily, you're going from like 0 to 60 with this 18th century stuff because you told us that you've like made 1.5 18th century things. So, and now court gown? Remember when you tried to make an 18th century like Mantua gown, and where is that? Did that ever happen? Yeah, we're not going to bring that up, okay? 8 people who love me in the internet, okay? Back off. 18th century court gown. Can you imagine? In this like gorgeous antique gold with these embroidered. I believe I got 12 yards of this, I think. It's amazing. Amazing. Okay. So, this is the fake taffeta I told you about. I know. Did you just go, oh, I know, because that's what this color makes you do. It's the most beautiful pink. Like, just the most stunning pink. This is fake taffeta. This is one of the best fake taffetas I've come across. It looks like fake taffeta. It's got the multicolor like crossover that fake taffeta does. You know how fake taffeta has that like kind of multicolor in the folds? This has that. Now when you touch it, you can tell it's not real silk. Once you've gotten to know the feel of like real silk and you touch fake silk, you know the difference. There is a difference. But without touching it, it looks so real. And I have tons of this stuff because the guy was like, there's only like 7 yards left on this roll. I'll give you half the price if you take the rest of it. I was like, well, maybe 3 more yards. And he was like, then I'll give you half the price off the rest of that. And I was like, all right, just give me all of it. So I have tons of this. I have so much of this. So I can make like modern day dress that's beautiful and pink for me. Maybe I can make a pretty dress to go out with Handsome Hubby in. And then maybe I can make like a historical dress. And maybe I can, I don't know. I have so much pink and I love it and it's amazing. Okay. Now this pink might be a little hard to show you, but it is also amazing. It's 100% silk. It's 100% silk Dupioni. Now Dupioni silk is super, super slubby. And this one, he marked down the price on it because it's even more slubby than you're used to. Like, it's extra slubby. So I think it wasn't selling very well. Now, this color is going to be a little hard to show you. So I'm going to try to kind of move it around. But it is like this icy pink. It's like pink that is shot with this like ice white color. And you can probably tell here if I turn it this way. You see how slubby it is and how like huge some of those slubs are? Yeah. I kept walking by it and walking by it and walking by it. And I finally was like, okay, I need to get me some of that just because it's beautiful. I follow Gertie from Charm Patterns on Patreon. She's amazing and has amazing patterns, and she's coming out with a new book. Anyway, one of her patterns that I've really been wanting to make lately, I'm thinking this is going to be a dress. So I'm excited about that. Okay. Now I know what you've all been waiting for. You want to see the fabric from the story. The fabric from the story I told, the 100% silk taffeta fabric that made me ooh and ah and decide that I would pull out my husband's credit card. The 100% fabric that turned me into a crazy you know, shut down person who went into anxiety, weirdness, and all that. You want to see that fabric. Okay. Now you will see why I was like, I have to have that. It's so beautiful. You ready? Here it is. This is like a deep golden sunflower. You know, not those bright yellow ones, but like those deep golden sunflowers that have, it reminds me of those that have like that kind of burgundy, those burgundy ones behind it, like those burgundy petals, because it's shot with like this, let's see if I can show you. It's shot with like this red, this like burgundy red that is just amazing. I don't know if you can see that, but there, if I kind of twist it, I think you can kind of see it. That burgundy red. It is the most glowy, beautiful fabric ever, and I just looking at it makes me feel things, but it also makes me sigh and wonder if, I don't know, if I'll ever get over how things all went down with that. So I don't know. I know I should just let it go. Let it go. Don't talk about the fabric anymore. But, you know, sometimes it's not always that easy to let it go. But, ew, I'm sweating and gross, people. I don't have my fan on again, and it's very hot in here again. So, you know, I put my hair up today because it was so hot. Let's talk about Disneyland. Now, I told you, Universal Studios was kind of a, I mean, I went on some fun rides, but basically the day was kind of overshadowed by the whole, you can't go on half the rides in the park. That was pretty crappy. Disneyland, on the other hand, was amazing. Me and my friend Melinda, who, by the way, is like the best person to go to Disneyland with. Because she understands, like, hey, after a certain amount of time of walking, you need a foot break, and you need shade breaks, and you need water breaks, and you need treat breaks, and food breaks, and, you know, and you don't want to just, like, you know, ride. And she's also, like I learned after a huge trip to Disney World with some friends several years ago, that, that people have different priorities with these parks. Now, I had these friends we went with where, like, one of them, their priority was, like, pictures, shopping, I think eating, and then rides. And then, like, the other friend was, like, shopping, rides, eating, pictures last, you know. Me and Handsome Hubby, our first priority is always rides. We are, like, the rides are our first priority. Second priority is probably food. Third priority is maybe taking some pictures. But it's more like, oh, that's cute. Snap a picture, we're done. We're not going to take 50 pictures. We took a picture or two, we're done. And shopping's like our last priority because we've gotten to the point in our life, like, I'm all for people who, like, cover their walls with their fandoms. In fact, I think it's really fun when I go to friends' houses. And, like, my one friend is a huge Disney friend, like, huge. And she has just got shelves of Disney stuff. And she's got Disney artwork all over her walls. And she's got, like, a million Disney ears. And she's got, like, these magnet walls with all these magnets and stuff. She is a huge Disney fan. I think it's adorable. I love going to her house. you know, and I've been to other friends who have like medieval, like swords and fantasy stuff all over their house. And that's amazing. And I'm all for it. I think because my second husband was that way, but he was very, very immature about it. Like hanging the swords on the walls and like having all his little toys out and stuff. I don't know how to like describe it to you, but he was very immature about it. And, you know, and he was one of the people, those guys who like his video games came first, and like his D&D games with his friends came first, and his, you know, his fandoms came first. And, you know, when I was like, hey, I want to put this picture from our wedding up, but he felt that it was going to take up too much space on the shelf that had, or on the wall that had like the fandom stuff. I was kind of like, priorities, you know, wedding picture. And he was like, it doesn't really go with the, you know, the decorations in the room. And I'm just like, wedding picture, you know. Anyway, so I tried to kind of do like maybe an elevated decorating. I wouldn't say I'm like super decorating, but like, you know, I've always loved Klimt as an artist, and Handsome Hubby got me Klimt's, this huge, gorgeous canvas of Klimt's The Kiss several years ago when IKEA was selling it. And I was like, that's amazing. You're amazing and wonderful. And I love you. And I love Shakespeare. And so, and I love this artist, James Christensen, who has this very beautiful fantasy art style and does these amazing fantasy art pieces. And I have 2 framed paintings of his that are Shakespeare themed. And then on my stairs is where I actually have my piece de resistance. It is a print of The Unexpected Party by the Hildebrandt brothers, who did the original illustrations for the original editions of the Hobbit book. And it's signed by the Hildebrandt brothers, by both of them. That is like my pride and joy right there. So, I've always been a little bummed that I've never fully like decorated the way I want to. I mean, if I really had my way, I'd be living in a Victorian house and have like my Victorian furniture and my Victorian furnishings, and I'd be decorating that way. But since I don't, you know, and I don't want to just shove Victorian stuff in my modern home, I want to find a lovely balance of different styles that I like. And Handsome Hubby's kind of like, if I'm comfortable on the couch, then I love the way you've decorated, you know. But I haven't really done that here exactly because, well, I don't want to stay living here in this townhouse. Because as you've heard me complain many times, I don't want to live here forever. We are going on year 3. This October will be year 3 in this townhome. I don't know how much longer we're going to live here. Probably going to be at least 2 more years, which I don't know. And by that point, we'll probably have completely priced out of Washington, and maybe I'll have to move to a house near you. Okay, back to Disney. Disney was amazing. We bought the Genie Lightning Lane extra add-on thing to our tickets. I know people say, don't do that. Don't support the horrible money thing, get more money thing that Disney has done. But I'm sorry. I'm overweight and under-exercised, and I have bad feet. I don't want to wait 2 hours to ride Indiana Jones. I don't. But I was having trouble like finagling on my phone on the app, because you have to like get the fast pass for that ride, and then once it reaches the time, you can do another one or something. And I was having trouble. My friend Melinda's like, no sweat, I got this. And she like planned our whole day, and it was amazing. She even was like, oh, is it just getting a little too hot out here for us? And our feet are really starting to hurt and we need a break. Let's go over here to the Royal Theater and see this cute little Tangled version play in the shade with her feet up and just, you know, enjoying. I'm like, I didn't even know this was here. Like, we've been so like ride focused in the past that, yeah, I didn't even know that little theater was there. I'd never been to it. It was adorable. I loved it. I got to go on Peter Pan's flight, which, I'm sorry, I may be years old, but Peter Pan's flight is still amazing and magical, and I love it. And you fly in a pirate ship, and there's just really nothing better than that. It is awesome. We went on Snow White, which has kind of been redone. It was cute. It was cute. It was nice. We kind of noticed the changes. I mean, I've been to Disneyland enough that I definitely noticed kind of the changes and where they were. And I mean, I guess they were good. When we got to the end, I was kind of like, I'm not 100% sure how those changes are necessarily better, but it's fine. It's fine. There is a cool, like, Prince kissing Snow White thing at the end that has been kind of upgraded, which was cool. So we did the kiddie rides at the beginning because we got there right when the park opened. And what's cool about that is that parents with small children and stuff, not all of them, but a lot of them tend to not get there right when the park opens because they are wrangling family. And then the people who get there right when the park opens, who have not paid extra for Genie Plus, Lightning Lanes, and whatnot, they head straight to the big popular rides like Indiana Jones, like Star Wars, like Space Mountain, and Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, and Matterhorn, you know. But since we had Genie Plus and we were going to be able to leisurely ride those rides in the Fast Pass line all day, we hit the Fairy Tale Land first and rode Peter Pan's flight and ran across the street and did Snow White. Pinocchio, those didn't even have like lines yet. We just hopped on those ones. Yeah, we rode everything pretty much, almost everything that day. And didn't even stay like super late because, you know, it's like 8 o'clock at night. We'd had this huge, amazing dinner in New Orleans. Friend also picks awesome places to eat. And our feet were hurting and stuff. And we're like, you know, we could be done. I was like, you know what? We have done so much today. I'm good with that. I'm cool with that. We've like, there's like one ride we didn't get to do. And we were like, meh. It's not like we've never been to Disneyland. It's not like we're never going to come back. One thing that was really fun is we went on the Smuggler's Run ride in the new Star Wars area. If you haven't been on it, it's really cute. So it's basically like you're in the kind of like the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon. It's not the Millennium Falcon. It's your own smuggling ship. But it kind of looks like, you know, and 4 people at a time can do, like, it's 4 of you. And if there's not 4 of you, they'll grab people from like the single rider line. And there's 2 pilots and 2 gunners. And anyway, since there was just 2 of us, they grabbed a guy from the single rider line. And it was really funny because he was like, oh, I'm here with 2 couples, so I'm kind of the 5th wheel, so that's why I'm in the single rider. I'm single ridering all day. And we're like, oh, you poor thing. And he was adorable because me and Melinda were like, oh no, go right, go left. Because one of the pilots handles the up and down of the ship and the other one handles the right to left. So you kind of have to coordinate, and we're like, oh no, this way, oh no, that way. And he's like, I got him, girls. Don't you worry. I'm shooting him. Don't you worry. I got him. And we're all laughing. It was hilarious. It was so much fun. With just random dude. random dude who was like, girls, girls, I got him, girls, girls. It was really funny. Yeah, it was great. I tried a lot of Disneyland food also for the first time. In the past, like growing up, I grew up around Disneyland because I grew up in California. And my mom was one of those moms where we packed our food in. Like she brought a cooler and we packed our food in. Like she wasn't about to pay those, parks prices. And so when I grew up and I went with like friends and husbands and boyfriends and whatever, when I grew up, I always packed lots of snacks and water to drink and stuff because I wasn't going to pay those high park prices for food. And so I rarely have eaten on park. Like I've had like my few things, like, I'll get my Dole Whip. And like this one year when me and Handsome Hubby went for Thanksgiving, we had Thanksgiving dinner at the Blue Bayou, which was really cool. But yeah, rarely have like just eaten snacks and foods and meals at the parks. And so that was really cool. Belinda knew a lot of delicious stuff. And everything I tried was amazing and delicious. And yeah, definitely going to budget for eating on the park for future trips because park food, Disneyland, super, super yummy. On my way out, I picked up some belated birthday presents for my friend Rachel. Her birthday was the Monday before I left on this trip. And I told her, I said, because she's like the super Disney friend. I was like, do you want a birthday present now? Or do you want to wait till after my trip when I've gone to Disneyland and I can get like a present on the park? She's like, a Disneyland present? So picked up Disneyland present. I would tell you what it is, but she actually hasn't gotten it yet. Because, I've been homesick for 2 weeks. And then I did just see her last night when we did a girls' night where we were supposed to do hair or makeup, but we like got our makeup out and I was like, holy cow, I have like 2 makeup, like eyeshadow palettes and my friends have like 50 each. And so I'm going through theirs going, wow, I am so behind on my makeup like game. And we just got to talking so much and watching Rachel put her makeup on. She does the most amazing eye makeup. I didn't know what primer was for. Do you know what primer is for? Like, I have some that a friend gave me, but she told me like how to put it on, how I'm supposed to put it like on over my eye and stuff. But she didn't really tell me what it was for. And Rachel explained that like the primer keeps the eyeshadow in place, which is amazing because my eyeshadow by the end of the day has usually like smudged all over or it's ended up in the crease or it's like cat-eyed or like raccoon-eyed down here. And I didn't even know this stuff. So I'm like watching Rachel and taking mental notes, like I'm in front of a guru or something. But I forgot her present. So I will have to give it to her later this week. So you don't get to know. I have no idea if Rachel watches these videos, but just in case, I'm not going to tell you what it is. Some of it's cool. Some of it, I don't know if she's going to think it's cool. I guess I'll find out. So that was Disneyland. That night, went back to the hotel room, packed everything up, had to pack fabric in my luggage. Because even though my friend Melinda was driving back to Washington, she had stops along the way at like relatives' houses and stuff. She could only fit like some of my hats and stuff in her car because she had packed her car, she had a little car full of her stuff for this trip. So yeah, my carry-ons were bulging, like super bulging. And I put all the like super bulky heavy stuff in my little roller carry-on. And the second the airline was like, hey, we need people who have roller carry-ons to check them, I was like, here's mine, because I did not want to carry that around anymore. But somehow I managed to pack all of this fabric in with my stuff. I also wore a couple of layers of clothing home, which was super hot. and really uncomfortable. But the very nice lady who was sitting next to me on the plane, who was like this very tiny, I don't know. I think maybe she was like Korean, maybe, because she kind of reminded me of my neighbors who are Korean. Some of the words I heard her speaking on her phone before we had to hang up because the plane was going to take off. But she was really nice. You know, I'm all squished up against the window, trying not to take up any room, just like being like, I know I'm like kind of, my thigh is like under that armrest, you know, invading her space. And I'm just like, oh, so embarrassed. And she looks at me and she goes, should we put this armrest up? And I was like, oh, are you sure? And she's like, I think we should put this armrest up. She puts the armrest up. And she's like, sit back, sit back. And so I'm like, okay. And I sit back. And she was just super nice. She immediately saw my situation and was like, just be comfortable. It's fine. You're not invaded. She was a tiny lady. So even though I was kind of like a little over in her seat, airplane seats are tiny, people. You know, I wasn't touching her or anything. So she was cool with that. She was very nice. And then I came home and now here's something I haven't told you throughout all of this. How are we doing on time? Ooh. Okay, we're back. Something I haven't told you is starting about when we went to the Queen Mary, so Thursday, the Thursday of costume college, I started to really feel like this tickle in my throat and my nose was getting a little stuffy and I was just feeling a little, you know, just a little sickish. And I was like, you know, what's going on with me? Maybe it's allergies because I'm in a totally new place. We're spending hours outdoors on this big ship. You know, maybe that's what's going on. But from that day till the day I was leaving, it got progressively worse. In fact, at Disneyland, even though I had tons of fun, I had also bought medicine and was taking like Dayquil and stuff. I had a totally running nose. I had a cough. After screaming on the rides, I like had almost no voice. I was like, oh, that was so fun, you know, type of thing was how I was talking. And I just felt like, so like gucky, like head sick. And I had like sinus pressure and it was just blah. So when I got home on Wednesday, it was so cute. Handsome Hubby pulled up in the car and he just like runs over to me, immediately goes to kiss me. And my brain goes, don't get him sick. So I went and I like pursed my lips like this. I just realized you could see it from back there because my lipstick's really dark today. I'm not sure if I like me in like really dark lipstick. I was kind of trying to match my outfit a little, but I feel like it's too dark. Anyway, but I kind of pursed my lips like this. Not full on, like, I have no lips, but like, where you push them really like tight together when he went to kiss me. And he's like, what? And I was like, honey, I am sick. I think I have con crud. If you go to conventions, any type of conventions, like Comic-Con conventions, you probably have come across con crud, which is basically where you get like this general sickness. And lots of people get it. And it's basically because you're around a ton of people who touch everything, who breathe on everybody else. And it's just con crud. And it just spreads through. And it's just like a cold, kind of a general cold that just makes everyone tired. And you have kind of cold symptoms for a few days. And you're just like, bleh. And I said, I think I have con crud. And I said, I thought it was allergies at first, but now I'm like, ugh. And he's like, oh, and you don't want to give it to me? And I was like, no. He's like, okay. And I even wore a mask. Like, I did not wear a mask at costume college. I will full on say it. I did not wear a mask at costume college. I thought about it. I brought masks, and I did wear masks on the airplane because you are in very tight quarters with people, like right up against them. And when I'm in situations where I'm like right up with people, I do tend to pull out a mask because I'm still a little wary, because even if you don't get COVID, we now know how easy it is to get anything. And I have a low immune system. Like, my immune system laughs whenever germs come by as they open the door and invite them in. So, yeah. And then anytime I get sick, it turns into bronchitis, and it lasts for like a month. Super fun. Welcome to my world. So I was like, I think I have Crud. And he's like, okay. And so he went and bought me a million cans of chicken noodle soup, and he sat next to me on the couch, and he rubbed my back. He was so sweet. We went to bed and everything. And the next day, I was still feeling just awful. And I had this thought, this isn't COVID. No. So I took a COVID test. Whoa! I have never seen the COVID line show up so fast. Seriously, like within a minute. You know how the little take-home tests say, it might take up to 15 minutes? Yeah, within a minute, both lines were like dark. And I was like, it didn't look like that the last time. I had COVID just like 2 months ago or something. Yeah, the line was very light. It didn't last super long. Yeah, this was a very dark line. And I was like, crap. Sorry, someone knocked on the door, and it turned out to just be the wrong place. But they knocked on the door, and I was like, I didn't want to be like filming in the background or keep the, some things I might actually keep the camera on, because as we know, I don't edit a lot, but I didn't know who was at the door. So anyway, so I was like, I was like, Handsome Hubby, I have COVID, and you need to stay away from me, and we need a quarantine. And we made me a little spot downstairs, and he stayed upstairs because he needs to get to his office. So I was like, you take the bedroom. I'll sleep down here on our very crappy couch, and that's where we'll quarantine. And he also took a test and tested negative. And I was like, awesome, great. And the next day, let's see, so that was Thursday. So the same day, I did a telehealth visit, which is like going to urgent care, but over your phone, a video call over your phone, and said, hey, I just came home from this convention. I just tested positive for COVID, and these are my symptoms. And they're like, we're going to put you on medicine, including COVID medicine. I was like, okay, great. And within the next few days, Friday, Saturday to Sunday, Handsome Hubby started showing symptoms. Sore throat, like me, coughing, runny nose and stuff. So on that Sunday, he decided to test again, and he tested positive for COVID. And it was the exact same as me. That line showed up like within a minute. Now, my 5 days of taking my COVID medicine were up on Monday because I, jumped on that right away. And I was COVID free by Thursday. Now, I might have been COVID free before then, but we didn't have very many take-home tests, and I wanted Handsome Hubby to have the option of taking tests every 48 hours because he couldn't go to work when he was testing positive for COVID. His work wouldn't let him. So we needed him to be able to keep testing until he was no longer COVID positive. And so that Thursday, some more tests that we ordered showed up. So then I took the test and I was like, oh, I am COVID free. Yay. But I still have bronchitis and I still have a sinus infection. So I did another telehealth visit, and because they said, hey, if you still have these symptoms after, a week of being on this and you finished your COVID medication, because some of these other medications you can't take while you're doing COVID medication, come back. So I did another telehealth visit, said, hey, I'm done with my COVID medication. I'm no longer COVID positive, but I definitely have a sinus infection because I tell you, I've had sinus infection before, but it was never like this. It was only the one side of my face. I'm not sure why. It was this side, and it was pain, like extreme pressure and pain from this side of my nose all across here and up around my eye, down into my ear, and down across my back teeth, like the top of my back teeth back here hurt. Like that's how bad my sinus pressure was. And I was like, so it's been over a week that I've had this pain. Can you please help me? So I got sinus infection medication that I finish in, I think, tomorrow. And it is gone. I still have a runny nose, and I still have this like pointing to my throat made me cough. It's not a super regular cough. It's kind of very random, and it's getting further and further apart when I need to cough. But when I do cough, this is probably TMI, it's productive. Like there's still grossness in there, so. But that's the bronchitis. Like that's the bronchitis part of things. It's probably still going to be another week, possibly two, before the cough and the runny nose are fully cleared up and I am fully better, because that's just how it is with me. I am sick for like a month, and everything is bronchitis. Welcome to my world. So, hey, we've caught up. We are totally caught up, friends. I have told you all about my trip. I've told you all about July. I've told you all about being sick. I've told you all about my fabric. I've told you all about all the different things I did. I told you all about my new sewing machine. I told you all about my AC. Did I also tell you Handsome Hubby has to wear these reading glasses now? He actually needs actual, like, real glasses, like reading glasses. Like, he should go in and get a prescription. But he just bought some reading glasses from the store, but they're these cute, like, black square ones. And he wears them, like, all the time, which he really should just go get it. He doesn't want to admit that he needs, like, these. He needs the close-up glasses. That's what he needs. But he doesn't want to admit that because he wore glasses for most of his life, and then he got LASIK. But, you know, we're aging, and that's happening. I actually wore glasses and then contacts for the majority of my life, and then I got LASIK. So I am aware that at some point you do still age. Your eyes will age. I think he looks so sexy in them. He looks like Clark Kent, like, in those glasses. Like, he comes in and his hair's grown out a little, so it's kind of floppy. And he married me a powerful, handsome man, people. Powerfully handsome. I have some costuming plans for my handsome husband as well. I am always very hesitant to make anything for him because men's clothes seem like this magical mystery. But there are some events coming up in the late fall and in December that I am like, nope, Handsome Hubby needs some new costumes for those, and not just me. Like, I usually just focus on myself, and then whatever still fits and whatever is what he wears. Nope, Handsome Hubby's going to get some new costume pieces, so I'm a little excited about that. And then me. The next thing I have coming up is actually the Colonial Festival, which is over a weekend, over the first weekend, I believe, in September. I'm kind of bummed because my friend had planned a American Girl picnic for that weekend, but I'd already promised my other friend, like, before I knew about that, like, we'd already planned that we were all gonna do a day trip. Well, first we planned we were going to do a weekend thing, and then we decided we were just going to do a day trip that Saturday to the Colonial Festival. I see the fly. Just 2 seconds. I see the fly. didn't get it. Oh well. Okay. I hate you. Wherever you are, I hate you. I hate your tiny, tiny fly guts. Okay. And I want to wear clothes. Like, I want to wear an outfit. I'm not 100% sure I'll get done what I want to get done for it. We'll see. It might turn into maybe not, but it would be nice. The first weekend in September is coming up really, really fast. And then I've actually got a couple of things I'm hoping to maybe host. A couple of get-togethers, costuming get-togethers that I'm hoping to host this autumn. And we'll see if those happen as well. There's also some local kind of traveling within the 3-hour realm that I'm potentially hoping to do. We'll see. We'll see. I'm going to let this video go because it's already super long. But my next video will be all about like not just costuming plans, but patterns, fabrics, some more specifics. And I'm going to commit to what I am currently sewing, because I have been sick and I haven't been sewing anything or working on anything, and it is time to start working on something. Oh, hey, by the way, I have 2 jobs that are also interested in me. I know, it's really exciting. Both have contacted me this week. So, and both have expressed like that they're very interested and they want to like really push this through to like get me hired. So I'm so excited that I will have a chance to contribute to the finances in my house, to help us be financially stable, so that we can, you know, just have a lot less stress in our home, in our lives, and, you know, potentially get to do a lot more things. And maybe I can even come visit some of you and go to your events with you, because that is something I'm really hoping to do. I was really hoping to do this year, but of course financial things happened. But next year, that's kind of one of my goals. I want to visit some of my friends and some of my new friends, and I want to travel around and come to some of your events with you, because I love meeting new people. I love making new friends, and I'd love to test out like events in other places. So you think about that, because I'd love to maybe come to your town, visit you, come to your event. Lots of loves and kisses, and thanks for catching up with me. And feel free to comment about anything and everything, and I will catch up with you. And I think there's going to be a Sunday video. I think there is. Might be a little weird. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, bye. Bye.